It's now time for Global Insight, where we speak to experts from around the world on issues making headlines. Now, South Korea's new president Yoon Suk-yeol took office last month as the country's 20th leader, and he began what he called the Yongsan Era of openness and communication for the nation, moving the presidential office and his residence as well to the capital central district of Yongsan. So as random as this move may have seemed, the district of Yongsan embodies the cultural and societal significance that the administration aims to pursue over the next 5 years. Meaning Dragon Mountain in Korean, which is believed to be inspired by the shape of the mountains in the district, Yongsan-gu is located in the geographic center of Seoul between the Hangang River and Mt Namsan. And well, to discuss what lies ahead in this Yongsan era for South Korea, we connect with Se-ryun, Professor of Law at Kyung University, joining us via Skype, and Manuel Jauschnig, joining me here in the studio. Very warm welcome to you both. And well, my first question going to you, Professor Song. Now, first of all, could you please define what Yongsan era means for us and what it really signifies for the Korean people?
Well, the immediate significance is that the presidential office is not at the long history, the Blue House site, for the first time since 1948, when the first modern government launched in Korea. It also signifies the move away from the whole issue of imperial presidency, which the isolated nature of the Blue House location and also the palatial setting played a part. President Yoon wanted to project the image of open and very transparent government, and he first picked the Gwanghwamun government complex as a new office, but for various reasons it was not possible. So Yongsan has become an accidental presidential office, mainly because of the Department of Defense building, and at least the necessary infrastructure for security, underground bunker, and so forth with them. But I think that the prospect is that now we see the president on the street during his commute, and he tries very hard to blend into the everyday life of the citizens. So it is a new era with a new look of the president and what it signifies.
And Professor Song, well, it was somewhat a accidental sort of transition, I suppose, of presidential the presidential office as well as a new era for the nation. But what is the historical or geographical or even cultural significance of Yongsan that now makes it the bedrock of the new Yoon administration's governance?
Well, historically, Yongsan has a little bit of a sad face because the Yongsan, throughout the history, in many different parts of history, was a site of foreign troops. We can go all the way back to Mongolian era, where Mongolian troops stayed there, and the Japanese troops stayed in several occasions. And recently, with a little bit of a different relationship, Yongsan has been known for a long time for the U.S. military base is still located there. And because of that, the development restrictions has been pretty severe recently. But now that the military base is scheduled to finish, actually, they were supposed to have been moved already. So what we have is a vast real estate right in the middle of Seoul that we can develop, and probably with the cultural significance, historical significance, it will put in more national or traditional theme into it. And with the presidential office, probably we can plan some theme with some people suggest that we could make it as a just like the U.S. DC setting, where there are a lot of monuments and also a culturally significant site for citizens of Seoul.
And of course, Yongsan was very much named for its for being a rather international district, especially with the very iconic town of Itaewon located in the heart of it. And while bringing you into the conversation, Manuel, now we saw the town of Itaewon and the surrounding other towns in the Yongsan district becoming something of a ghost town, really, because of the withdrawal of the US troops as well as the COVID-19 pandemic. And it used to be a very lively and bubbly area, but well, now that we're in somewhat what some call the post-pandemic era and also now the new Yongsan era. Do you see some of that business coming back? Are you seeing the streets starting to liven up again?
I mean, overall, I have to say, like, business is definitely coming back. You know, like, you see more people going out, more people enjoying time with their friends outside. So I'm pretty sure we're going towards the pre-pandemic stage. Regarding the move of the US military base, it pretty much depends on what kind of business you operate, you know. So I think it mainly hit the day-to-day traffic, which means it decreased. But on the other hand, more locals discovered this area or rediscovered this area. So I think it's kind of compensated. And obviously, COVID hit Itaewon pretty hard, you know, and it's now a great pleasure for me to see it slowly coming back. But for example, the east side of Itaewon, it was always lively with a lot of shop openings, luxury department stores. So this was doing quite well even during the pandemic. And now, ever since the curfew got lifted, I think the west side, the so-called party side, is now also coming back, and we are definitely on the right track.
Right, so things are starting to liven up back in the Yongsan area, especially with the presidential office now located in it. And well, Professor Song, now there are already plans to really ramp up the district with new landmarks as well. So what are some of the major developments that we're going to see?
Well, the biggest thing, I think, is the park. It already has the sizable park, but with the plan to convert all the real estate previously a U.S. base, it's going to rival the Central Park in New York. Central Park is about 3.4 million square meters, but the new plan, the Yongsan, is going to be close to about 3 million square meters. So, and in that, there is a National Museum, a War Museum, and also different installations that we can put. So as our guest was saying, it has the international flavor to it nearby, and we also had a plan for international business district plan, but not been implemented for decades. So with that, this real estate opening up has a very, very exciting and very significant development prospect for Seoul and for Korea. I think I'm personally very excited about the park idea.
Well, just passing by the district, really, you can see it sort of buzzing with energy already. And every weekend, it just seems to be full of, well, hipsters, really, just going there to check out the latest eateries and things. And Manuel, I believe you also opened a restaurant in Hanam, a neighborhood in Yongsan district next to Itaewon, where President Yoon will be, where his residence is now going to be based. And well, why are more and more hipsters really turning to this area?
Well, let's say Hanam-dong pretty much covers east side of Itaewon as well as Hanam-Ogori. And as you already mentioned, there are a lot of new openings, bars, restaurants, and also new flagship stores. But I think Hanam-dong has been a very hip and trendy place ever since day one, you know, like a lot of celebrities and a lot of people from art and fashion are living there. And now also the so-called new locals are discovering this area because of some attraction points, for example, the flagship store from Gucci. Then you have the lifestyle complex, Hanam Sounds, or 9-1. Then you have the Hyundai Music Library with a great vinyl studio. And also the D Museum, which now moved to Seongsu. And that's also the area where we opened our restaurant, the Reveat.
Professor Song, well, do you think that this move to Yongsan is going to help the administration really in its push to become more open and global as well?
Well, already the look of it, because he's closer to the people and he's having media conferences on the way to work and back. So it is open optically, but I think that it requires a little bit more to shed the imperial presidency image. It requires not only the address of his office, but power sharing structure and attendant laws. President should be more subject to check and balance system. And I think in that infrastructure of laws and regulations, that change will truly deliver his campaign promise that he's going to be more open, and also imperial presidency era is over, and Yongsan will signify the new openness of Korea. And I think it's going to be exciting development for the Korean politics.
Right, and in addition to Korean politics, many are hoping that this will help Korea become more international as well. And really, in that regard, Manuel, do you think Seoul could become the next Hong Kong or Singapore?
Well, I was living in Hong Kong for some time, and I was traveling around Asia quite a bit. But I think Korea or Seoul is a very unique place. The love and appreciation of the people for food and the dining scene is like really phenomenal. I mean, always you see new trendy places. And for example, 5 of the 50 best bars in Asia are from Korea, from Seoul, you know, with Charles H. ranked as number 7. So overall, I think there's a huge potential, but I still think this language barrier might be a small problem. You know, I mean, even the business environment for foreign businesses has improved tremendously, but compared to an English-speaking culture, it might gonna be hard. I mean, it's not a must to have an English-speaking culture, but it definitely matters.
Right, and would you say there are any further changes or regulations that need to be improved in order, as a global businessman, to really want to expand in South Korea?
Well, I'm a small business owner at the moment, so there's not much to comment from my side. But I think for me, the 2 most important things are bureaucracy, as well as how easy it is to get information, you know. I mean, trust me, bureaucracy is an issue all around the world. I, as a European, I speak out of experience, but if you get the process in Korea right, it's super fast. You know, so this surprises me all the time. And the other thing is, like, as I mentioned already, the English, the language barrier. So it's quite hard to find very important information for you in order to set up a business, in order to navigate. So if a lot of those information could be accessible in English, it would definitely boost the whole environment.
You see, Professor Song, before we go now, we've already seen the Yoon administration make some efforts to make Korean standards more international. And how important is that in terms of, well, dealing with bureaucracy and administrative procedures in terms of, you know, in order to push forward this new Yongsan era?
I think his conservative government has that theme already, deregulation in the business sector, but at the same time, Korea has been growing in the international role. So he's going to be going to NATO, and he's been in steps with the global friends to be a significant player in the global affairs. So I think that the theme will continue, and the Yongsan would be probably a good site because of the cultural significance and the nature that the international flavor is already infused in it. So with that kind of significance and also changes in its policies, probably Yongsan will mean something rather than being an accidental presidential office that it came to be.
Well, hopefully the accident will lead to good things over the next 5 years, and we'll see the Yongsan era really opening up not only just Seoul, but South Korea, not just domestically, but also globally as well. So that was Se-ryun, Professor of Law at Kyung University, and Manuel Jauschnig joining me in studio today from MRJ Group. Thank you both so much for your time today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.